All right. Hello and welcome. Um, Today, the big question is your brand ready for live streaming? So, why is live streaming important to your brand and how do you begin the journey? What are the three most important things that you'll need to build your live stream show for your business? Hello, digital challengers and live streamers. Welcome to Livestreaming Decoded, where we show you the strategies, tools, and the platforms that your business needs to define your brand value, create marketable digital experiences worth remembering, and deliver your online experience anytime and any place. My name is Doyle Bueller, and I'm with my co-host Keith Keller, who will say a few words coming up. We're talking about what's really important here, what we call our live streaming ABC, audience building content, and we're going to show you how you can get directly involved as well. And today we're talking about how to actually push that go live button and build a show that you will be proud about and live stream around the world or in your own backyard. So Keith Keller is considered by many to be one of the world's leading authorities in Twitter marketing, especially Twitter video marketing, and he's a firecracker. My name is Doyle Bueller, and I run a strategic digital marketing consultancy where we are creating real-time, connected, and adaptive digital challenger brands in this disruptive digital economy. We've been doing podcasts and live streaming for years and want to share our journey with you. All right, let's dig in. Welcome, Keith.
Hey, how you doing, mate? This is part 12 of a 10-part series. We started in April as an experiment, and let's be very clear. You and I both have been podcasting possibly for a decade, but we've decided to push the video button on, and this part of the process is new for us. So back in the first week of April, we started with Be Live, two people side by side, and we worked through all of the different options available: Zoom, Restream, StreamYard, Periscope, LinkedIn Live. And now here we are in episode 12, asking the question of what did we learn? Is this relevant for business? How can business now take this into the post-COVID era and, do a hybrid of the in-person experience and also the online experience? I'm very proud of what we've achieved so far.
Oh, it's been amazing. It's been an incredible journey, right? And that's really what we want to build upon is how do you actually put these pieces together to build that platform, to build that foundation as well. We actually have a few comments already. Linda, welcome, Linda Ray. Holy cow, look at y'all. Did I say that in a Connecticutian accent? Holy cow, y'all. Look at y'all. I forgot it was Wednesday at 9 p.m. Yes, we're broadcasting live around the world at 9 p.m. Eastern time. What is it? 9 a.m. Perth time. And Keith,
Melbourne.
You're at 11 a.m. in Melbourne time as well. So welcome, Linda. And yeah, shout out to Crystal Williamson as well. Yeah, and thank you. Linda Ray was a guest on a couple of our shows already, and she'll be rejoining us for our reunion episode coming up. After
Let me just pick up on what we're doing here. We're trying StreamYard with the side by side view, and look at how lovely the images look, the comments look. We can see them clearly.
Yeah.
And the part of the idea of the show is it's not only about the comment of do you have the courage to go live. You have to have some tech. Yeah? And this is what we've been doing. We've been trying all the tech. And Linda and Crystal, who are already on the show, are coming back for our reunion show on the 15th of July. Because we only found this out yesterday, and Doyle found this out for me, StreamYard now allows up to 10 people on the screen. This is a brand new idea.
At the same time.
At the same time. We've never tried this before, and we're very keen to have almost like a Brady Bunch look. So Crystal's coming back, Christine's coming back, Linda's coming back, Erica's calling in from Jamaica. Maybe we'll get Anne-Marie to call in from Melbourne, Anna from Portland, Oregon. And we're just going to have the gang back, a bit like the Blues Brothers. We're getting the band back together.
And we're going to be talking about some amazing things about live streaming. And when is that show? When are we starting that show? That's on the 16th?
July the 15th Eastern time. July 16th for us. Part 12. Yeah.
And then after that, we've got our live streaming challenges coming up starting on the 20th, and we're going to be getting into that pretty quickly as well. Welcome, Ash. Ash Playstead. I think you're from Melbourne as well, so welcome, Ash. Thanks for checking us out. Appreciate that. And Linda is on fire this morning or in the evening. I like the border layout, which allows for layouts. and yeah, the band is back together. So we'll have to play some musical instruments.
Yeah.
There we go. In our next episode, she's like just an amazing promoter, and I love you, Linda. You're doing some fantastic things all the way on the East Coast as well. Thank you for the amazing gifts. She's been producing some gifts on fire as well,
I know, and,
which
and,
has
and the
just
thing
been
that's
incredible.
interesting too, like yesterday, and I really want to play this out. I think the idea of pre-formatted, lovely HD videos are sort of a bit old. Maybe I'm a bit sort of a bit challenging there, but you know, I've seen people spend months and hours and thousands of dollars on these great videos, and they put them on YouTube and they get zero engagement, and that must be debilitating. I just did a live stream 2 hours ago on Facebook. 50 people live on the show. 50
Yeah.
people live commenting. Hey, how you doing? I'm watching from Connecticut, and here's Linda making little comments. She'll turn these into little gifs with her hanging out with hubby in the backyard.
Wait. Stop. Did you
But
say GIF?
I'm not allowed to say that. It's the GIF. Have you seen the Bugs Bunny GIF?
No,
You know
it's
the
a
GIF.
GIF.
It's
It's
a
a
GIF.
GIF.
It's a GIF. It's a GIF. It's a GIF.
Just kidding. Call it what you
No.
want. You know,
Yeah.
call me whatever you want. Just don't call me late for supper or dinner.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm in Australia. It's
But
dinner.
tell me about this challenge. You've been really
Yeah.
pushing this hard. Tell me about.
Well,
You've been doing a lot of work on that. Tell me about it.
that's the thing, right? Is that, as you mentioned, Keith, like going live is the hardest part, is pushing that button and to say go live or whatever the button actually says, depending on the platform that you're using. That's always been a struggle, and for me personally as well. I just had to dig in. Like I think it's been almost 4 years. It's like I need to do this because, as you're saying, the production value of a live stream is so much higher, yet the actual production is so much lower. Like you and I mean, yes, there's some organization. You can't necessarily go just live suddenly. I mean, obviously some people can, but for most businesses, most brands, you need some time to prepare the show. But if you're looking at producing a polished video that then you have to promote and push and all that kind of stuff, it actually becomes quite a huge task to be able to do. And the
There's
benefits
a lot
of
of
live
layers, isn't
streaming,
there? There's
there
a lot
are.
of layers.
Oh, there is. And even if like just producing a podcast, like once you get into it and start to produce them on a regular basis, one of my show we produce like over 50 podcasts. It takes a lot of time, and it takes like a fairly big team to be able to do that. Whereas live streaming, you've got the platform, you've got that capability, and you go, right? Again, you have to sort of create that outline, create that template for your show, and that's what that challenge is about. The live streaming challenge is how do we actually put these pieces together. So we're going to be launching the live streaming challenge on July 20th, right, Keith?
Yeah, July 20th. And I'm very proud of how you've done that. You've pulled it all apart. You've basically mined all of the different shows, and you've come up with the essential wisdom of the show. Can you tell me a little bit about how you put it all together and what's included?
Well, it comes down to our fundamental look at what we felt was important with what we call the live streaming ABCs, right? We wanted every show that we've produced, we wanted to keep it really simple, and we've really wanted to sort of sort out what's super important. You know, kind of create a priority system, a template that can be used, for everything that we do, every episode as well. So live streaming ABC was basically A is for audience, B is for building blocks, and C is for content. And you know what? If you've got those things ready, and if you can develop those and work on those as part of your foundation, you've got a pretty great chance of building something remarkable in terms of a live streaming show.
Yeah, well, look, I think let me just clarify what's happening here. There's two of us on the call. I'm in the moment trying to send the Periscope file to my Twitter account, because one of the things that we talked about during the course of this show, of the series, is that some sites allow you to schedule ahead, YouTube and Facebook, and others don't. So in a way, the challenge is about the idea that you need to know some of the tech. You need to know that, for instance, YouTube and Facebook allow you to create a link ahead of time that you can send to your guests and their followers and your friends, so that you can then relax. But other sites like Periscope, I cannot send it ahead of time. So I've actually got to, while I'm live talking to you, I've got to split my brain and create a tweet while I'm live. Now that
Yeah.
takes a specific type of effort for an Aquarian male, because I'm really, really challenged. But so anyway, I might go into zombie mode there for a minute while I'm trying to do the tech.
Yeah.
But the thing that's interesting about live streaming, separate to the tech and separate to the fear, is that the consumer, the person that's likely to buy your product, wants real. We don't want scripted, formatted people in ties reading scripts, because everyone's bored with that. Everyone, maybe with the exception of the person actually doing the reading, because they think it's important. But the consumer, the general person on the street, wants to sort of watch you. And I don't know if you saw this today. This happened today. This lovely person on the BBC. Have you seen this? You've got to go and research this. It's a trending topic.
Yeah.
Person
Sounds cool.
on the BBC, her baby comes in and live. Like, it happens almost every day, but now that it's a trending topic. So this woman's talking about something. I haven't worked out what she's talking about yet, but she's talking about something important to the BBC, going live to the world. And this baby comes in and goes, "Mom, what does that button do? Can I have some dinner?" Okay. Now that is going to become a trending topic because it's so gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now that
It
person's
is.
going to become almost famous for a day and a half because people are going to go, "What's that video? What did she say? She's a good mother. She maintained her calm. She talked. She delivered, but she had bub. And this is COVID. This is what we're dealing with. And so I really want to dive deep into live streaming. And I want to get it, and I want to find all the tech, because I want all the people in the world that are thinking, you know what, I don't have the courage to do it. I want to just make it easy. On day one, just get your show format. Day two, decide what site you're going to send it to. Is it Facebook? Is it LinkedIn Live? Have you put your hand up for that? Are you still waiting? Is it Periscope because you're a Twitter dude? Is it YouTube because you dig it? Or is it is it a combination, and do you need a bit of tech for that? Because one of the things that you have said to me, and I still haven't fully pulled this apart, StreamYard allows 10 guests, Restream does something similar, and they're
Well, now
almost
they're doing
competitive
20.
products. Now they're doing
Yeah.
20, but they also give
Yeah.
you stats. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, that allows you to actually see how your show is performing as well. So look at at the end of the day, right? The ultimate goal is to have more viewers and create more business. So if you're able to measure that, initially you need to measure it in terms of, how many people are watching, but you have to look on sort of the flow-on effects of how many people are, following you, how many people are, following your programs and that sort of thing as well. So it creates that foundation to be a thought leader, really, is what we're trying to do here. But yeah, with Restream, you're able to look at actually where is your show being viewed, and that's one of the things that you pointed out, Keith. Is that's that's section one, audience. Where is your audience? What are they doing? Where are they? How do they interact and that sort of thing. So that's one of the key ingredients to see is where is my audience? What am I going to do with them? How am I going to actually connect with them as well?
And Restream is the one that does that best?
Yeah, oh, for sure. It does the analytics without question. None of the others do, other than the basic, how many views and how many likes and how many hearts and that sort of thing. So it has a really deep analytics.
I'm really fascinated because this is a key ingredient if you want to turn live streaming into a business model. Anyone can pick up their phone and live stream in the park. Anyone.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you want to turn it into a manageable, monetizable, if that indeed is a word, process to say, okay, this is a lead funnel for me. I got people out there wanting my product, and I've got this little way of getting to me, and here's my offering. How does Restream do those stats, and why is that important?
Well, it actually shows it based on an episode level too, so you can actually track over time when when things were maybe a bit interesting, or maybe somebody had to go run and get a glass of water as well. So you can actually see the drops in visitors across the entire program. So it's actually quite fascinating to be able to see what to do and when and that sort of thing as well. But I mean, overall, what it's doing is it's giving you an insight into your program. And to me, that's, you can't really, you need that sort of otherwise you're kind of going around in the dark.
So it not only tells you how many people have watched the show, it tells you at what points of the show they had peak interest. And indeed, low interest. So you can say, well, geez, that guest got lots and lots of views. Let's get them on again. Yeah. Or that topic was really a bit flat. Let's not talk about that again. It's just sort of business management 101, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, to see kind of how things are going, and that's good to get that sort of feedback loop in your show as well. And that's part of the challenge. That's what we're actually going to be doing is guiding you through this tech. I mean, as you mentioned, Keith, it can be quite overwhelming. I've tried. Well, we've tried myself personally before we started these, but after that, we've sort of helped navigate, the tech side of this too, to say, okay, if your audience is this is what you need to be able to do. This is what the pieces that you should be looking at, kind of thing. So navigating this stuff is super, super important. And that's where the building blocks come in. It's like, okay, what do you really need here? Do you need to go out and spend, $1,000 on a audio kit, or, can you pull something together from a friend or whatever the case may be, right? So start simply. And then the last one is content, right? What's really important with your content is telling your stories. So how do we actually pull that out of you? How do we actually, define that in terms of what's important? What's your audience looking for as well? So I just want to jump back to a few comments. We have Linda. Yeah, she's GIF versus GIF. I think we've had that conversation as well. Linda, thanks for the hearts. Appreciate that. Ash, yes, 1 hour west of
Ballarat.
Melbourne. So yeah,
Okay.
Ballarat. Hopefully you're doing safe. Actually, that wasn't any of the areas at issue lately, was it? They were all north of
No,
Melbourne.
the country areas are going quite well, and sort of social distancing. It's a lovely area, Ballarat. It's very historic, and
Yeah.
it gets very cold. It's wintertime here. I can just imagine how cold their mornings are.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. And then Linda, Facebook is getting some backlash though.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah. And then insights are key, no matter what the digital platform is. Absolutely. So right now we can see in this platform that, excuse me, how many eyeballs, or actually that would be sets of eyeballs, I guess, how many thumbs up and how many hearts and that sort of thing. So it's a cool little indicator. And don't get me wrong, that's a good starting point. And one of the things that we found is that you need to start, and you need to understand that you're not going to have a huge audience. You're not going to have, raving fans around the world. So it's something that you really need to build over
Right
time.
away.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's the important part, is that if you're creating your audience, if you've got the building blocks, and if you're creating good content, you're going to attract people to your show, right? It really comes down to simple things like that. But again, you have to start, right, Keith?
You have to push the button.
You have to push the button. And we've had tremendous discussions with, again, some of our guests from around the world, where it's like, what is actually holding you back from doing that? And there is a lot of fear, but it may be little bit misplaced, or fear that says that, hey, maybe you're just not quite ready, or you know what, maybe you just kind of need to push yourself as well, because at the end of the day, people are watching this, and they can, judge you on what you're doing and what you're saying. And how I had to clear my throat a few seconds ago but couldn't, so you got to kind of keep talking through that. But it's a platform that you can connect directly with your audience, and that to me is the fascinating part of this, and how we actually put all these pieces together. Some of the questions that we quickly wanted to get to as well is, why is live streaming important to your brand, and how do you begin the journey? Keith, maybe you want to touch on that a little bit?
Look, I think the reason why live streaming is important is that the consumer, let's come back to this fundamental point. The consumer, the person that is likely to buy your product, is crying out for the real world. We're sick and tired of this lack of trust. And you talk about this all the time, this idea that, there's nothing better than seeing someone's face. And video is great for that, because it's a controlled vanilla version of you, unless you're very good at it. But a live stream this is me. It's Thursday, it's 11 a.m. This is who I am right now. The good and the bad and the ugly. Whether or not Bub comes in and tries to interrupt me because she's hungry, or whether or not I knock my coffee cup over, or whether or not the sun is shining and that the light is terrible. The live streaming component, the scariest part is also the essence of it, that people want to see real. And if you can master this, you will have a very strong competitive advantage against the people that are not doing it. And I'll give you the example in a similar way of, if you wanted takeaway and you rang up and you said, do you deliver? And they said no, you could be forgiven for just hanging up. Okay, well, I want people to deliver now because I can't go out. Well, you don't deliver. I mean, how can I get your food?
Yeah.
The same thing about live streaming. If you're not live streaming, you're not really going to suffer any major consequences. I'm not really going to talk about FOMO there, but if you do live stream, you set yourself apart straight away simply because no one else is doing it. So you've already created this feeling that you're ahead of the pack because you've had the courage to jump in. Do you see that as a major advantage of live streaming, just the realness?
Oh, absolutely. Like having the comments and talking with people and having the guests on the show from around the world. Like we span the globe, which to me is like fascinating. From West Coast Australia and that sort of thing, which is one of the remotest places in the world, as I'm told.
Yeah.
So it allows you to connect easily to your audience wherever they might be, which to me is absolutely fascinating. It gives you something to be able to work with, and it allows you to expand your business. And look, maybe you only do business around your backyard, but at the same time, what if other people could be talking about your business around the world?
Mm.
You know,
I want to talk about two things that are very, very, very relevant here. We can't travel anymore. We had a major trip planned and we had to cancel it. And we lost lots and lots of money, and we're not alone there. So my heart goes out to everyone else in that position. But we have this time now where we would have been away. So we've decided to do home projects, right? Now, several businesses in Melbourne and in Australia have been very clever at tapping into this and saying, okay, there's a really cool brand I want to shout out to called Ozito. And I'm not affiliated to them. They're not paying me to say this, but they have a series of products where you plug a battery in, and you can have a whippersnipper or a mower, and it's a sort of an electrified system. Yeah. Now they have all these great videos on YouTube that a whole range is on YouTube. But imagine, and I've been trying to talk to them about this, imagine if they did a live demonstration of their mower, their electric mower, and how cool it is and how much petrol it saves at 11 o'clock on a Thursday. And then they had a button to say, hey, if you click this button right here, we'll send this mower to you today. And if you don't get it in a week, it's free.
Wow.
Right? Imagine this is the use case for this, because there's something like 300,000 people in Melbourne today can't leave the house. Prohibited to leave the house unless it's absolutely essential. So they're all dying for something to do. Mow the lawn, fix the house. So if businesses can try and tap into that and say, look, I've got a solution. And the other business I wanted to talk about who's done this exactly is Bunnings. Because what they do is they say, okay, you can't really line up on a Saturday afternoon to come to Bunnings. Why don't you click and collect? I love click and collect. It's my favourite thing. You get everything online, you pay online, you go to the shop at a non-busy time, maybe Wednesday at 7 p.m. They put the stuff in your boot and you go. You're there a total of 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You get what you need. They get some business from you. Everyone is happy. The only thing you're not doing is the ambling around on a Saturday, which is what tends to happen in those gardens.
You usually waste time doing that.
You waste time. Look, do we want this plant? Do we want this manure? Do we want this? Oh, that's a nice fence, honey. Can you imagine having that pot in the garden? That sort of stuff is very lifestyle.
For our North American viewers, that's like Home Depot. Bunnings is like the Home Depot.
Home Depot. Yeah. And so it's a lifestyle choice. But remember, this is 2020 and we're all stuck.
Yeah.
So the businesses that can adjust to this and sort of allow people to still buy the stuff, can win. And you've talked about MasterChef, and I use the example of the mower. There's a million examples.
There's a million out there, and there was actually one really good one and really one poignant one that I've been talking about all week, and it's been creating some amazing discussions on social media. Cirque du Soleil, right? A fantastic performing arts company based out of Montreal. I was actually on the pier in like 1990 and they had this Cirque du Soleil place where they were all kind of doing aerobatics, and it had no context back then, but you take 30 years now and it's like an amazing worldwide show. It's performing arts. It's these spectacles. They went into receivership in Canada, bankruptcy protection earlier this week, and to me it's like, okay, I understand we've all kind of been restricted by COVID. It's hampered a lot of businesses. It's done some terrible things just because live performances are dead, right? Let's be completely honest. Or they're
Yeah.
in, maybe hibernation is probably a better way of saying it. But the fact is that, can you imagine all that content, all those videos, all of those shows that they've done over the last 3 decades that they
Wow.
could easily convert into a streaming revenue, become the Netflix of spectacle, right? Their shows
Yeah.
are amazing. And I know it doesn't replace, an exact being in the theater watching these performers play. Like, it's just beyond belief. But they have to adapt. They have to see what actually works for the business and how does it actually work better for us, and can we
It's not
create
all or nothing, is
revenue?
it?
Sorry.
It's not all or nothing. I
Well, no,
really
it's
want to pick
not.
up
But
what you just said there is so powerful. You've got this company that's made their whole business out of being live, so it's
yes,
all live, and then
yeah.
it's all nothing. There's got to be a middle ground, hasn't it?
Well, there is, and that's through streaming, right? Can you imagine? I mean, you can still have small groups. So whether it's streaming in terms of a pre-recorded show, right? Or what a lot of people have done, what a lot of shows have done is they've, isolated the host and they've isolated the guests, and then they still have a
Mm.
show, right? That streams across, around the world as well. You look at late night comedy. Other than, not catching the laughs because there's no audience to have the laughs, whether it's a laugh track or not. Actually, I think we talked about that, having Keith as a laugh track. But the
Yeah.
point is that they still were able to produce those shows, and you know of a musician here in Australia who's been doing that amazingly by having creating a live stream. He's connected everything together. He creates these massive events, and they're all digital, right? And to me, that's a huge missed opportunity, especially for something as large as Cirque du Soleil, who has some content. Again, they can become
Mm.
the Netflix of spectacle, with pre-recorded shows, and then they can continue to create some shows in some locations as well and stream those. Who wouldn't, as a super fan, who wouldn't want to pay money for those types of things?
Well, look,
So
let me give you a real example that we did last week. You'll love this. We love this band called Papa Roach. Linkin Park meets sort of any number of other bands that were around in the 90s. And they did a 20 anniversary reunion tour for their first album, which sold 120,000 copies a week at its height. Like, a guy bought a racing car from that, so sort of for experience. And so it was at 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning here in Australia, 2 p.m. in Sacramento. And we got up, we made a special event. We got up at 6:30 on a Sunday, and we were live streaming this really loud music. And I went up and down the street apologising to
yeah,
my neighbours. And so here we are seeing this band who we have seen in person live in the city. But they played all their songs from that album and a few others, and they were really into it. And there just wasn't any crowd. But it only cost $20, and thousands of people watched it all over the world. And it's an example of a band that's being creative because they still need to play.
yeah,
Their fans still need to watch them.
yeah.
And that sort of thing could have happened with, as you say, Cirque du Soleil, couldn't they? They could have done that.
Yeah, they could have. They could have started, 4 months ago, where it's like, okay, we need to start looking at something different. This is a model that I've been working on for quite some time. I'm actually presenting at the social media business show coming up next week. But this is what we talk about. And one of those key ingredients is digital delivery, right? You need to have that today in today's day and age. You can't necessarily have as many customers coming through your doors as before. And even if you did, wouldn't it be cool to have an extra, platform for revenue?
That's right.
So you have
Yeah.
to be able to look at, how do we expand this? How do you deliver on digital? How do you create this on-demand type scenario? And how do you create an amazing customer experience, a digital one? And you can do that. I just want to catch up on some few comments. Linda, thanks so much. Insights are key no matter what the digital platform is. 100%. We need to be able to see what's going on, what's behind this, black box type thing, to see if it's actually working. And guess what? If it's not working, that doesn't mean that you just quit and you stop doing what you're doing. It means, hey, maybe I should change something. Maybe I should fix something. Maybe I should, change the format of the show, or whatever the case may be. So insights are absolutely number one. Welcome, Crystal Williamson. Sorry. Live streaming is great for repurposing as well. Yeah, so exactly. So these videos, Keith does an amazing job of, once we've created an episode, is breaking it down into snippets. And we have our preview version, we have our highlight version, and we have all these other versions that really kind of convey some amazing content. And we can continue to use those. We can continue to educate people about live streaming in this case. And then we have Erica joining us all the way from the Caribbean.
Jamaica.
Erica McKenzie, Jamaica. Yes. Hello, Keith Keller, and hello, Doyle. Thanks for joining us, Erica.
Let me pick up on this exact scenario here. I know I've talked about it in other shows, and Erica's going to come back on our reunion show.
Yeah.
Because she was part of our Zoom crowd, one of the very early shows. But back in May last year, 2019, and even before that, because the show was actually in May, but maybe January 2019, Erica contacted me and says, "Can you fly from Melbourne to Jamaica and present all your wonderful knowledge to my crowd in a really lovely hotel on the beach in Jamaica, 5-star, we'll put you up in a hotel." I said, "Oh, geez, that sounds very, very appealing, but it's a 27-hour flight for me.
And longer from Perth.
Can we try Zoom?" And initially she was very, very resistant, as most people were in the early days of 2019. But we did it, and it was, one of the better, I reckon, was one of the great highlights of that conference, because I spoke at 12:30 my time. There was 50 people in the room. There was 50 people in a chat room who didn't know anyone in the room and couldn't come. So you said a very, very interesting thing, and this is the way we're actually phrasing. It's not either or. When COVID finishes, we will go back into the city, and we will go and see live bands, and we will go to restaurants again, and we'll be able to hug our mates. But at the moment, we can't do that. So what we've got to do is we've got to find an additional source which can continue. So that online course, which was a great success in May 2019, the Global Digital Marketing Summit, is a model we can go moving forward. And you've got one next week, haven't you?
Yeah. The social media business show is next week, run by the Social Media Marketing Institute of Australia, by Marai Ryan. So looking forward to talking more about that. Another comment from Linda: as a newbie, that was in regards to our question. As a newbie to live streaming, I'm previously super conscious about how I look on video. Yes, that's important too. Is sometimes we get affected by, is my hair good? Is my, makeup on properly? Does my background look okay? And I think a lot of this really slows us down as well. So what she does is prepare an outline to have content organized. Just do it. Yeah, absolutely. And keep doing it, right? It's that fear of, we'll melt away and, shower. Okay, thanks, Linda. We don't, you can shower whenever you want. So yes, come ready for the show, I guess, is the main one. That's super important. Another comment from Crystal as well. Great. And yes, Linda is funny. She's like the comedian, our comments comedian.
Yeah. Look, I want to pick up on this. The great thing about the engagement factor is that you're inviting guests and viewers to be part of the story. Yes. And Linda this week has created these hilarious videos, which don't actually have anything to do with the show she was on, but they're hilarious. And suddenly that becomes part of the engagement story. It becomes part of the family.
And she's converted some into GIFs as well, right? So she can get those. And you had the hands clapping one. We actually need to do that. Keith, let's do a clapping one. Okay. And we'll make it into a GIF. Perfect. Awesome. Okay, we're going to make that into a GIF or a GIF, however you want to say that. All right, so is your brand ready for live streaming? That's the big question that we're asking today is, can you actually do it? The answer is absolutely yes. That's why we've produced what we call our live streaming challenge. It starts on July 20th. We're going to go quickly into some of the details, and then we'll let you go for the day. It's invite only. Express your interest in the live streaming challenge as well, and so you can register your interest here at bit.ly/livestreaminginvite, or you can actually find out more details. Sorry?
It's case specific.
It is case sensitive, yes. Or you can actually find out more about the challenge itself on the website, which hopefully we'll have a few minutes to go through as well. But again, we want to design something that's going to help you just do it, right? And do it easily. So it's not going to be, create all these amazing programs. It's going to be showing you the building blocks of what's really important. And again, that's sort of where we came up with what we've been talking about since we started this show, Keith, was our live streaming ABCs. A for audience, B for building blocks, and C for content as well. So on the 20th, we're going to start with a simple introduction. Actually, before the 20th, right? If you subscribe now, you'll sort of get into that information before. But we're going to do a quick introduction. We're also going to have a pre-challenge training as well. So this is going to get you up and running, right? So that you don't suddenly go, oh my God, I don't have any of this stuff prepared. Because we are going to talk about those three core categories, right? Audience, building blocks, and content. So we want to make sure that you're ready for this. And how do we do that? We've got a few exercises as well to just kind of get you warmed up, getting you thinking about what's going to be really, really important and how we're going to get into that.
Let me pick up on what you've just said
Sure.
there.
Yeah.
I've done a Twitter poll. That's one of the foundations of this particular series that I've been polling everything. What site do you like? What earphones do you want? What mic do you like? And we did a Twitter poll to work out what the ultimate timing is of the challenge. And 10 days seems to be about right. So what you thought was there's three ideas: audience, building, content. So we're doing 3 sections, 3 days of training on each, and then on day 10 we're handing it over to you to do one, and not do one with no knowledge. You've had 9 days practice.
That's
and
the cool
also
part.
The thing that's great is that we're going to create this really lovely community of safety to say, look, you don't have to go live to the world, just go live within this small group, and then we'll tell you what we think. Maybe we'll be polite about that.
No, we will.
So we will. So is your mic okay? Does it look all right? Is the graphics fine? And you get a practice run, because we know for sure that the biggest part of the live thing is the fear. So if we give you 9 pieces of content to chew on, and then on day 10, you can sort of meld it together in your own way, I can't wait to see how people take that information and change it around. Do they use StreamYard? Do they use Ecamm? Do they use Restream? Will they use Zoom? Will they have guests? Will they do solo? Will they do an app?
Which is all
different flavors.
All the stuff that they get to test out during the actual challenge as well. So it's a private Facebook group, and you'll be able to go live whenever you want to practice with the stuff we talk about your audience and about the building blocks and about the content. So test it, try it out, run it through the safe group, the Facebook group that we have. That'll make sure that if you do make a mistake, it's going to be okay. We're all sort of in it together. We're all going to be helping you out to deliver that. And so then, yes, on day 10, we can actually deliver that, the final live stream performance where you can invite other people. So day 1 to 3, audience, right? Let's talk about audience for a few minutes, Keith. Why is your audience important?
Oh, look, this is probably the foundation of the whole thing, because I just mentioned there's Zoom, there's StreamYard, there's Restream, there's apps. You need to know specifically where your tribe is. If your tribe is 18 to 30, then you might hang out on Instagram. If your tribe is 55-year-old males working in the city, you might put your hand up for LinkedIn. If your tribe is on Facebook, then you need to hang out there. So the first part of the process is understanding where your tribe is, and most importantly, what do they want? Yeah. So you can do anything you want, but there's no point sending stuff out if no one's watching it. So the first part is understanding your audience. And it is amazing to me that so many people don't understand that idea. Why do you think it's important to understand your audience?
Well, so that you get the right people on the right bus, I guess, is the...
Okay, the right people on the right bus. I like that.
Yeah, because look, we're taking them on a journey. We're taking them on a story. Like I talk about, building a digital expedition. That's sort of the background of what I talk about a lot. So we want the right people on this expedition so that we're at the base of Mount Everest. We're going to take them on this journey up to the summit. So for me, that's important is, okay, who do I want? Who wants to be on the bus? Like, let's be honest, right? Who wants to come on this expedition with all of us? This is what we're going to be doing. This is the story we're going to be talking about. This is how we're going to get through all these different things. And do you want to come on this bus? It's scheduled to go. So I think that's really important, because if
you think about social media as a series of buses,
the
LinkedIn bus is not going to base camp. The LinkedIn bus is probably going to the internet cafe in the city to send emails back to the boss.
To watch on the high mountain top. Oh, look, there's an expedition going up on the mountain. I'll just drink my tea in this warm.
I should do that one day. I'll do that one day. So you're right. There's a series of buses, and social media is like that. The Twitter bus is very different to the Instagram bus, and you want to be on the right bus. You want to be chatting
Yeah,
to the right people.
yeah, exactly. Because if you're not, you'll look behind you and there won't be anybody in your bus, or they won't even know that the bus is coming. Right? Let's be honest too. That happens an awful lot. Is when's this bus coming and what's on it and where am I going, and all these sort of basic questions from an audience perspective, right? Like if I follow somebody, I want to know those questions. I want to have those questions answered.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
these are the ones that you need to ask to your audience as well as you get into it. Um, Day 4 to 6, building blocks. Keith, what are our building blocks?
This is the tech part, isn't it? This is the idea. Is this the tech part? The part where you need
Yes. Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
mic?
Yep.
So, so the building blocks are the foundations. Do you need a mic, or can you get by with headphones? Do you really have to spend $3,000 on a mic or $300? Can you at least try it with the basic building blocks? Headphones, webcam, and a bit of software. So we're going to work around the idea that should you try StreamYard, or should you just run it off your phone?
Yeah.
You know?
As
So
an
it's
app.
as an app. Is it a
Yeah.
tech? It's the tech. And once you decide that, and there's three very small sections, we've done the research for you. It's all very sort of front loaded. You can then go, you know what? I really do think I'm going to send my Facebook. I'm going to send my streams to Facebook, and I'm going to use StreamYard to do it. Right there, you're ahead of the game. You're not making it up. You're taking advantage of our experiments, aren't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and you can't get caught up in that tech too. So if your show is about such and such, that's where you'll have the feedback from the group to say, hey, this is something that you might want to consider. If you're looking at doing this and your audience is here, maybe it's Instagram or maybe it's IGTV or maybe it's something else as well. So we've had one guest who, rightfully so, she had that capability, but some of this equipment can cost like $10,000, $20,000, right? And if you're planning on doing a live stream show that gets attention, you need to be able to spend that money wisely, right? So perhaps 20 is a great investment for you, depending on what kind of show you want to build as well. So it's really important to kind of get through those hurdles. And a lot of times tech can be quite overwhelming, and myself included. I'm a techie guy kind of thing. But at the same time, some of these platforms are not very good for somebody just starting out. There's too much to worry about. There's too many buttons. There's too many things that can go wrong. So, it's stability criteria. And that's actually one of the points, too, is over this whole process, Keith and I have developed this 20-point criteria to say,
Yeah.
if you're looking for this particular type of platform, this is what you should be looking for. This is how we've graded them as well. So it's really, really important. I just want to jump into some comments as well. We've got
Yeah.
Erica and Linda lighting up the wires on fire. Linda Ray, yes, love your energy. Cool. Where's my tribe? Yeah, that's one of the things that we want to find out, Erica, right? Is where do they hang out? Can we test this and find out? And that's one of the cool things we can do is you send out signals just to see, are people interested or not? And as Linda mentioned, it's, in regards to the bus, if there's no bus or audience behind you, that is feedback, right? Time to pivot. It is, maybe tweak it, maybe define it a little bit better, maybe look at where is your actual audience and what are they doing as well. Super, super important. Crystal, always be open to pivot. Absolutely. Otherwise, you're stuck on something that won't work, right? And that's key. And that's the safety of this live streaming challenge, right? Is that we've got these people. You can come in, you can create your own live stream show. We're going to get feedback. It's going to be a safe environment so that you can make mistakes, and we all do. You don't have to worry if your makeup's not right or if your hair's all messy or whatever, you haven't shaven and you want to kind of come across as the professional. It doesn't matter. We're testing this out, and we're giving you that environment to be able to do that as well. Here we go. Erica, shout out for Keith. I was crying out for help from Keith Keller yesterday. And Erica's hosting a watch party. Cool. So that others can share in this amazing content. Well, thank you so much, Erica. Really appreciate that. And leaning in on the grow as well. Yeah, learning on the grow. Cool. Lots to cover. So where were we? Building blocks. And then day 7 to 9 is content, right? And this is all about your story. And this is about how you're going to tell your story. And if you keep it again, it depends on your audience, but what sort of foundation of content are you going to be creating? So what are your thoughts on this one, Keith?
Well, I think the fundamental question you need to ask is, do you want to do it yourself, or do you want to have a guest talk show format? And I've seen both. I've seen on LinkedIn, I've seen people talking at the camera and talking, to you. I personally don't like that style of show, but I have seen it done very well. And it's the great thing about that is that you are the only one that you have to rely on. And so if you've got the content and you've got the courage, you can just go live and start. And you don't have to rely on anyone else. And that's a great feeling of liberation. I personally don't like that style of show and I don't watch them, but I've seen people do it and they're very successful. And they're great for brand building when you are the brand.
And if I may, that's where your audience is super critical, right? What does your audience like to watch? Do they want to have more of a learning environment, a talking head, or do they want to have more of an interactive type show as well? That's where your content comes from.
Well, the other style of show, which I personally love, is I love the idea of being on someone's show, and I love the idea of having someone on my show. And I'll tell you why that's really powerful. One is I personally find that style of show much more engaging, and I'd be interested to know what people on the call think. Second of all, when you have other guests, this is really the foundation of why I do it. When you have other guests, you get this sort of almost like community load. Linda and Erica and Crystal are now my mates, and they're helping me promote the show because they're making comments and they've been on the show, and I make little videos and help them. And it's like a little sort of, it's really a lovely circular arrangement. They come on our show and we highlight them. They come on our show and our show is more engaging because of it. And then we make content ongoing, and Linda makes these really cool GIFs. I'm going to start saying that. It doesn't come out of my mouth well, but I'm going to start saying that. And then that becomes funny and becomes user-generated content. The other idea about that is if you have a show and have people on your show, you will be on other people's show because we all help each other. And I want to hang out in a community that's really building that sort of community spirit. Is that the sort of show you prefer to, Doyle, or do you do a bit of both?
Yeah, I do a bit of both. It depends on the audience and what their expectations are at that particular point, right? And you have to kind of match what your audience is expecting. If they're expecting an educational type one, a live stream with you showing people, then that's where it's best to kind of do it on your own. And I kind of connect my iPad and I draw nice triangles and that sort of thing. So it's really sort of more instructional. But with a live stream, you have that ability to feedback, as we showed with Zoom, where we can have like a massive room of people. We have a couple presenters, a couple panel, but guess what? Everybody can be involved in that as well. So that's why it's important, again, to be adaptive, but also to have that story. And that's kind of what we're going to be doing with the content, is helping you create a content plan that says, okay, this is my show. This is what I'm going to talk about. These are my guests, or I'm going to do it myself. Yeah. So we're going to clearly make it easy for you to say plan for the next 3 months or 2 months or 3 shows or 6 shows or however you want to kind of break that down to what's really important. What story do we want to tell our audience? And what are they wanting to hear?
Have you found like today, I'm really proud of this. I'm really proud of you doing this. Today, we had the YouTube video and the Facebook event page ready to go beforehand. How yes. important did you find that process over the course of the show? Did you find that an incredibly powerful point of having the links beforehand? How important is that?
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's one of the sort of the tricks and hacks that we'll be showing within the challenges, is being able to do that and knowing why we need to do that. Because if you can schedule a show in advance, guess what? You can start to get people to come, click on the link and they can actually express their interest so that they get notified when you go live. And you can do that with Facebook. You can do that with StreamYard for Facebook and YouTube as well. So by pre-scheduling it, that opens up a whole new wealth of capabilities, because then you can create an event, and we've again tested this, where we would create an event on Eventbrite, and then people can then register for your specific event because you know that you've reserved this video spot on Facebook at 9 a.m. Perth time Australia on Thursday morning, and away we go. We can get people to interact early on that, and we do have people commenting and liking the post before it actually goes live as well. So one of those cool hacks that unless you actually do it and try, you might go somewhere else and not sort of build that impact as well. So it's super, super important. Keith, I just want to do this. We need an audience member to go, is this GIF or GIF? GIF or GIF? Sorry, I had to do that. All right, so then that's content. So we're going to help you build a calendar, a content calendar, and give you some structure as well, because part of the problem, part of the challenge of going live is knowing what to talk about and when to talk about it. And if you can make it easier on yourself, you want to plan this out in advance. And again, it doesn't have to be scripted. I do have like an introduction that I do go through because I don't remember everything. I'm getting on in age. So it helps me kind of give that. And then we have a template, and Keith will have, specific questions as well that we'd want to talk to our guests about as well. So it allows us to build that content.
Let me pick up on one thing we talked about this week, and that is the idea of seasons. I'm very proud of this format. We created season 1 of this show. Now, the mindset around seasons is that we have planned 10 shows. I'm not planning to do this every week forever, and I don't have that emotional load of thinking, oh, I'm going to be doing this forever. I'm only going to be doing this for 10 weeks. And the power of that is that we formatted 10 shows in advance with a title and a date. And I could then go out and say to my friends, hey, we're doing a reunion show on July the 15th. We're going to try StreamYard. It's going to look like the Brady Bunch. Here's the format. We'll send you the link soon. Are you free? So the content becomes almost self-generating in the sense that I know when the show's on. I know what it's called. All I have to do is get the guests. And then the guests come on, Linda and Crystal and Christine and Erica have all said, yeah, I'll be there. Oh, for sure. I know the date. You've told me ahead of time. I can put it in my calendar. I can clear my schedule. And so the idea of a season means that I'm only planning like 10 shows ahead. And that gives me the comfort of knowing that if we need a break, people will get that. Mrs. Maisel, which is the show I'm watching on Amazon at the moment, it ran 3 seasons. They're currently making season 4. So there's a break. It's not on every night.
Right? Like to get to 50, what do you have to do? You have to get to 10 first. So we could have 5 series of 10 each.
Yeah.
Right? So you don't have to overwhelm yourself with, oh, I want to get to 100 episodes. Guess what? You have to start with 10. So plan out 10. And then things might change, and you might sort of want to reflect on, the content or the story or a theme or a series. It allows you so much more flexibility.
Well, I was in a Facebook group today talking about writing books. I love this group, Joyce and Sherilyn. And the very common thing with writers and content producers, this is very common, is we get into a bit of a routine where we make content in a certain way. And then we come up for air, possibly a bit late in the game. And then we realize, that hasn't actually been working for about 3 weeks. I didn't check. So the idea of having a season of 10 episodes and then reflecting on it and saying, you know what, maybe we'll change the graphic, or maybe it should be earlier in the day, or maybe we should try a different site, or maybe I will buy another mic, or maybe I'll get some more lights.
Or so maybe I'll go with a digital background too, right?
That's right.
There's so many different choices. And if you overwhelm yourself with, I've got to have perfect show on episode 1, guess what? You got to release yourself. You got to release that fear as well. And I think that might be why people don't start. It's like, oh my goodness, I need all this stuff. You don't. You just need a good idea. You need an audience. You need some building blocks, and you need your content. Start small. Start with 8 episodes. Start with 10 episodes. If you look at some of the great series on TV, they don't run continuously, right?
They don't.
Even the Walking Dead, or actually what I've found quite interesting is over the years they've actually split a season into 2. So before they'd show everything all at once between September and December, and then come December, January, there'd be nothing on TV. What they've done now is they've split it. So they run half the episodes before Christmas and half after, right? And it's 10 episodes or it's 8 episodes, and you know that it's a finite length. It's not going to be super, super long, so you can get into it. Then when they come back the next year, it's a different theme, different villains, different, characters, different storylines. So it's fascinating.
It grows, doesn't it? It actually grows.
It does too. Yeah. And so if you could break it down to say, this is my show, I've got 8 episodes, pick a number, and that's what we're going to help you do is pick a number. What do you want to do? How do you structure that so that at least you can push that button? I want to go back to some comments quickly. Crystal Williamson, Crystal's cool watch party is on. Awesome. So connect with Crystal, join her watch party, and leave some amazing content as well. Erica, I totally agree. Best to include others. Yes, it is a good opportunity to be able to talk with other people. And as she says, I changed my live streaming format to include guests and others. So yeah, it allows you people to connect with their audience and their people as well. Then we have Linda. Linda, GIF, right? GIF. Yes, let's go with GIF. Crystal, I'm a technophile. Say GIF. Oh no. The battle continues. We're never going to have an answer.
Yeah.
We'll sort that out on live streaming. Linda, if you don't start, you can't measure progress. I agree 100%, right? And that's the key thing is that you see that live button in StreamYard. It's up to the top right, and it's big. Sometimes it actually does flash once you get into that limited time period, and that's another hack is you have to, if you pre-schedule a show, you have to get it on air on live within 9 minutes, or Facebook throws everything out. So you've got this pulsing button. It's go live. It's like, oh my God, do I really want to push live? You got to start.
What you said there is really important. I tell you what, this is a fundamental part of my personality, and I'd like to include this as part of the challenge. This idea that there's a joy, there's a subtle excitement with growing. Okay, your first show is not likely to have any more than 10 people. I've been podcasting since 2008, and I know that we had like 34 live listeners on one show, 34 when we first started. But that show overnight got downloaded 1,800 times because you're picking up on two audiences. You're picking up on the live audience who happen to be around when you're there, which is a lifestyle choice. But then you've got the replay audience, which is infinite. You've got people coming back to your show weeks later going, oh, I never got around to that one. I should probably watch that. And now that we've got a show on every platform, I can segment. Okay, here's a show on StreamYard. Just watch that one. Don't watch the whole 10. Just watch this if you're thinking about trying StreamYard. We tried it. You'll see what it looks like. Anne-Marie spoke well. She uses it. She gave us some tips. And so when you first start, of course, you're going to have a very small audience. Of course, because no one knows who you are. But you will grow, and they will get better. That's important too, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Yeah, absolutely. So think of it as a training grounds, right? And that's where we have our bonus days of 10 to 12 where you're going to go live. You don't have to. We're not going to force you, right? But you're going to be able to go live in the safety of the group as your show, right? So whether it's with guests, whether it's by solo, whether it's training, whether it's, entertainment, whether it's educational, it's going to be your show. And that's going to be the opportunity. So this is the bonus of days 10, 11, and 12, where day 10, you go live. Day 11, everybody's going to give you some feedback, some good talking points, some good points to improve upon, or, hey, it's a great show. Let's just go live outside of the group as well. And then day 12, graduation, right? We're going to give you a cool little certificate and get you on your way to start producing your live stream, which is super, super important. So we're going to wrap it up quite nicely.
With a nice little Zoom chat with everyone together as a group chatting about things. And I think the community is really the power. I mean, imagine if you could go into a group and test the show out and people go, mate, this is rocking. Just go live. You've got it. You've sorted it. Or actually, no, I'd probably change that theme, or maybe it goes a bit long, or maybe get your webcam fixed. Or look, I've had good mates of mine, very good mates of mine, whose audio is terrible, choppy, in and out. And I'm thinking, I can't hear. And like, you're my mate, and I really want to listen to this, and I'm only listening to it because you're my friend.
Yeah.
But if you weren't my friend, I would just turn it off. And you've got like 8 seconds. The moment of what do you talk about with the moment of truth? You've got very little time.
Moment of truth.
You've got very little time, haven't you?
Yeah. Yeah, well, and that's part of it too, is that people want to see this conversation over time too. So if we can educate, inform, have fun, talk with other people, then guess what? We're increasing that time as well. Um, Three quick fundamental questions that you need to ask yourself. It is an invitation only, so what we'd like you to do is go to the actual site here. Where is it? Live streaming challenge. And it is by invitation only, so we want to make sure that your business aligns with kind of the program that we've got prepared, because if it's not, it's not going to, you're not going to feel like you've accomplished much. So we want to make sure that we've got the right people on the right bus, as I expressed earlier. So question number one to ask yourself: if you could create a live stream show now, what would it be about? Question two: have you done a live stream for your brand previously? And question number three: up until now, what has been stopping you from doing a live stream show? These are all sort of some fundamental questions that we really kind of want to use to understand, okay, is this for you? Is this, are you going to be able to learn something? Can we take you to that next step? And that's what's really going to be important for us as well, so that we can help you get there. We want to be able to do that, but you need to be prepared as well. What's holding you back? Keith, what have you found? What holds a lot of people back?
I think there's two things. I think there's this absolute phobia of the tech. And most importantly, because they've got a phobia of the tech, they've got this feeling that they'll look stupid.
Yeah. And nobody wants to look stupid.
No one. And so there's this feeling that if I go live and I don't know absolutely what I'm talking about and I've got everything in its place, I'm going to look and feel stupid. And maybe the third one, which harkens back to the BBC interview with the baby, is that I might go to all this trouble and have everything in its place, and then Junior comes in and wants dinner, and I've spoiled all my hard work. So the challenge itself is about, we're going to talk about all of the different components, so that we're going to sort that out. The second part is we're going to have a Facebook group that's safe. So you're only live streaming to a group of people that are interested in doing live streams and helping each other get better live streams. We want to. That's the bus we're on. We're on a bus where everyone is helping each other. And then the third part is, well, you do have to at one stage push the button, and there's no getting around that. But by having the preloaded formats, you should be able to have more confidence. That's what we're working for, isn't it?
100%. Yeah, no, Keith, you said it brilliantly there. That's exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to create that safe environment. We're trying to give you the tools, and we're trying to give you the foundation that says, hey, you know what? This can be done. It's a great way to connect with your audience as well. And we said it before. It's like you want real connections in real time with real people, right? At the end of the day, that's what we're doing, and that's what's super, super important here.
Brilliant.
So, yeah, no, thanks for that, Keith. So what's holding you back? You know what? Guess what? We're going to address all of those issues. If you are interested in starting, register your interest here where we've got those questions. Go to bit.ly/livestreaminginvite. If you'd like more information on the actual program, we kind of detail it out into the sections as well. And that's bit.ly/livestreamingchallenge. So that shows you how we're going to do sort of the pre-course work, and then the breakdown of the actual challenge itself into audience building and content, as well as the live streaming at the end of the day, which is really, really important. So it's been an absolutely amazing time, Keith. Really appreciate you and talking about all these things. Thank you so much to all our amazing guests and comments that they've been able to play along the way as well. Just a final one actually from Linda. I'll squeeze that one in there. Oh, okay, actually Crystal left one too. Thank you. Start with one episode, jumping in both feet. Yes, I think I grabbed that one already. And then Linda, I did a poll about why people don't live stream. It didn't get a huge response, but it was interesting. Okay, cool. We'll definitely have to check that out, Linda. Thank you for that. Keith, how can we get in touch with you?
Just Keith Keller on Twitter. I'm the Twitter dude. And I do have a website, keithkeller.com.au, but I hang out on Twitter. That's my place, my happy place. And I'm also on LinkedIn, but I don't go there very often. But what about you?
Yeah,
you're mainly a Twitter dude?
The master. Yeah, no, I'm pretty much everywhere. You can find me on all the social channels. The only Doyle Bueller in the world, so it's easy if you want to Google me and
Wow.
find me. I found out that I'm the only one, unless somebody has used my name, which they have, to write blog articles, and it's like, come on, at least do something a bit more risque than I would be prepared to
Well,
do.
there's a beer blogger in Boston, called Keith
Blogger.
Keller. He
Oh,
makes
really?
he goes to a pub. Can you imagine? He makes his living, or at least makes a decent, fun sort of hobby out of it. He goes to a pub, he drinks a couple of beers, and writes about it. Oh well, this is quite nice. Quite like this place. It's a nice flavour of whatever beer's about. I've got lots of bubbles. He writes a blog. Keith Keller, the beer blogger.
Brilliant.
That's not me.
Okay. Keith, you do like beer, but just not that much.
No, I don't like beer. I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't drink very much. In fact, Linda, who was on the call last week, said, "Mate, you're talking about having a cup of tea and going out for coffee. I want happy hour. I want to drink a really hard drink, like vodka on the rocks or something. Just give me something really hard, get me drunk, and then you can talk to me."
Good on you. And then you can have the discussion, is it GIF or GIF?
Yes, that's right. You can have that Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so last final words. Thank you again, Keith. Thanks everybody for watching. Find out more about the challenge here, bit.ly/livestreaming challenge. We've got the information and the link to the invitation form as well. If you did enjoy this show, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. We'd love to continue the conversation as well. And just remember that the live streaming challenge starts the 20th of July. Head over here to live streaming challenge. Excellent. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day, and we will see everybody online.
See you later.